This episode of Destructoid is brought to you by HostGator. Coming up on Destructoid, the PlayStation Vita finally has a US release date. Harrison Ford plays Uncharted 3, and Saints Row the Third is somehow even more ridiculous than we thought. All that and much more heading your way on Destructoid. Hey there, welcome to Destructoid. I'm Tara Long.
And I'm Max Scoville.
Happy Wednesday, Max.
Happy Wednesday, everybody. It's Wednesday again.
Yeah.
Happens every week, but we're still excited about it.
I'm always happy. Every day of the... Okay, let's talk news then.
Okay, we've actually got a really good show today. We've got a big new Saints Row preview, another preschool Connect game from Double Fine that adults will want for themselves. But the big news right now is a Western launch date for Sony's PlayStation Vita. The United States, Canada, Latin America, and Europe will all have access to the Vita on February 22nd, 2012. That includes the Wi-Fi only model for $250 and the 3G version for $300. Still no word on the launch titles, but we do have a date now, so that's cool. In other expensive Sony products I wish I had more money for news, they've also announced a release date for that 3D gaming TV that got shown off back at E3.
I remember that.
Yeah, fancy machine. It'll be available November 13th for $500, and that gets you the TV, a pair of 3D glasses, an HDMI cable, and a copy of MotorStorm Apocalypse, which actually does look pretty cool in 3D. That's cool. It's a TV, whatever, no big deal. It has the glasses that you can wear, and your friend can wear a pair too, and you can play two-player, and it literally splits the screen so that both people are seeing different screens.
You're looking at the same screen and seeing two completely different things.
Like having TVs inside your eyes. It's really cool.
Yeah.
So that's a neat thing. That's kind of its really cool selling point. Also, you can put it on your desk in your dorm room if you have $500. Anyway, that's November 13th for the TV and February 22nd for the Vita. So start not paying for stuff that isn't those things.
You know, Max, February 22nd is only 4 days before my birthday.
But I already got you that Texas-shaped waffle iron.
Really?
No, I'm kidding.
Oh, well, I'd rather have that than a Vita anyway, so please get me that. Also, stash away a few pennies for Uncharted 3, which is still on track for its November 1st release date. We kind of seem to be at the point in the game cycle now where Sony is literally just throwing piles of money at people to speak on behalf of the game. And the latest celebrity to lend their name for a commercial is Harrison Ford, the original adventureman and my personal pick for Hollywood's Silver Fox. Although creepily, he looks a lot like my dad. Anyway, the commercial basically just shows him sitting on a couch playing Uncharted 3 for like 6 minutes, and he's kind of reacting to it. But the important thing to note is that he's enjoying himself, you guys. You know, because of all the money that he got paid to sit in front of a camera and play video games for 10 minutes. I guess it's not all that different than what we do. Or maybe I'm just bitter because I don't have my own Japanese commercial.
Sooner or later.
It's the hallmark of success.
Yeah.
Japanese television aside, though, Sony did release the official launch trailer for Uncharted 3 on their YouTube channel a couple days ago, and it looks a lot like a movie trailer, even down to the cheeky one-liners and comic relief. It's an Uncharted game, though, so, you know, you expect to chase a lot of cars and punch a few guys and look really handsome while you're doing it. Not unlike Harrison Ford. Sony's also announced that there's a season pass planned for the game called the Fortune Hunters Club, which for $25 gets you access to the first 4 of 7 planned multiplayer map packs that they have planned for DLC, as well as 3 skin packs. Naughty Dog has already said that they're not planning on creating any single-player DLC for the game, but the first multiplayer DLC could be available as soon as mid-November, so...
Hey, Tara.
Yeah?
If Drake came up to you and tried to kiss you, would you kiss Drake?
Totally. I'd make out with him. I'd put my tongue in his mouth.
Oh,
yeah, I know,
awful.
that's gross.
You're dreadful.
I know, it's gross, I know.
Yeah, he's a heartthrob, though.
Yeah.
Anyway, last Friday, I got to pay a visit to Double Fine Studios, the guys behind games like Brutal Legend, Stacking, and whatever it was they changed the name of Trench to. Most recently, their Sesame Street Connect game, Once Upon a Monster, convinced me that I do want to connect, and now they're unveiling another Connect game that's actually really, really fun. It's called Happy Action Theater, and it's a game without rules. It's like somewhere between a virtual toy and an interactive visualization. Very psychedelic. For instance, it covers your living room floor with molten lava, or, you know, makes you underwater so you can catch fish. But basically, it's like a weird. It's just playing with the Kinect. It's some weird stuff you can do. Tim Schafer was there to talk about how even when video games are really simplified, like in Sesame Street, they can still be frustrating for little kids to figure out. So they wanted to make a thing that's, just sort of open-ended and fun to play with, which is pretty cool. He also pointed out that it could be fun for a dorm room full of college kids under the influence of things. I got a chance to play a bit of the Happy Action Theater with our good pal Anthony Carboni, and it was really neat. We kicked a bunch of balloons, and I got really sweaty because we were in a room, and then I went in the other room and I ate corn dogs and drank the beer. So thank you, Tim Schafer. You just gave me one more reason that I want a Kinect so that I can stomp around in my tiny apartment and knock things over and piss off all my neighbors. So
actually sounds and looks kind of Japanese also. Happy Action Theater?
A little bit, yeah. I could see that, maybe. It's pretty fun, though. I think it's going to be something to keep an eye on. So
definitely.
There's that.
So we usually make it a point not to cover sports games on this show because our producer really likes them, and we also, we just like to make them mad. But when I saw my Twitter blow up this morning after the news broke that EA is remaking NFL BLITZ, I figured we should probably at least mention it. So here goes. EA confirmed today that they've been busy developing an HD remake of the popular midway title NFL BLITZ, set to release on XBLA and PSN in January 2012 for $15. The game will feature the same set of crazy, non-regulation rules as previous games in the series, but with a few modern updates. For example, you will be able to play 1-on-1 or 2 versus 2 if you want now, both locally or online. And they've added a couple new modes, including a single-player one called BLITZ Gauntlet, where you go up against NFL teams with exclusive fantasy character bosses, which sounds so lame. EGM has the full exclusive on the game, and I've got a friendly tip for you, EGM. Use a light when you shoot video next time, okay?
Oh, wow.
You can't see shit. Also, the new BLITZ looks like fucking bullshit, according to Zach Miner, our producer. He says it's not nearly as crazy as the old game, so.
Well, it's a new modern era.
As long as you can
serious.
light a guy on fire and punch him in the nuts, I'm okay with that.
Well, speaking of crazy, crazy things, we're going to be back in a second to talk about Saints Row the Third, but first, let's have a word from our sponsor.
Let's do that. So you want to start a website, but you don't know where to begin. Well, look no further than HostGator. They can get your blog or website up and running in minutes with plans starting at just $3.96 a month. For that price, you'll get 24/7 customer support, access to over 4,000 templates and website building tools, and they'll even migrate your current site for free. HostGator servers are 130% powered by wind energy, and they offer unlimited disk space and bandwidth, a 45-day money-back guarantee, and a $100 Google AdWords credit to market your site. HostGator is offering a whopping 25% off your first order or your first month free if you're a Revision 3 viewer. Just head on over to HostGator.com and enter the code Destructoid during checkout.
Well, here we are again. As you guys probably know, my two most anticipated games of the year are Skyrim and Saints Row the Third. And last episode, I summarized my 2,600-word Skyrim preview, which you should go read. And then afterwards, I had a few people ask me why or when I was going to be talking about Saints Row the Third.
It's been like 4 days.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, unfortunately, the last big Saints Row preview event happened, until they release it, and that was the day after I played Skyrim, and it was down in LA, and I didn't get to go. Apparently, I didn't really miss much, though. I mean, they only had pole dancers and, free Saints Flow energy drinks and t-shirts that said I Heart Rim Jobs, and then Lindsay Lohan showed up, and all the gossip sites talked about her yellow teeth and her possibly blood-stained hands, supporting my theory that she is in fact an incubus. And I'd also like to point out that she got her probation revoked this morning and is going back to jail most likely. I feel like THQ's PR department might have pulled some strings to make it extra exciting.
You probably didn't miss much from the sound of it.
So that was all last week, and today Hamza put up his full preview of Saints Row the Third on Destructoid.com. I think he got 6 hours with it. He was let loose on the game, starting from character creation. Now, if you've played any of the Saints Row games, you just stop paying attention to what I'm saying. Look at her go. You know how extensive the character creation is. You can do pretty much whatever you want with your character's body, and they push that further now, apparently. Hamza considering modeling his character after a reviews editor Jim Sterling, but instead fell to his more baser instincts and made a naked Asian chick with big boobs.
That's a good look for him.
See, you can adjust your character's breast or penis size with a sex appeal slider, and as you can see, some of those characters had the sex appeal turned all the way up. So after that, Hamza started the game at his first mission, and he got to play through the ill-fated bank robbery and then the daring skydiving escape from the Syndicate's plane. You can find both playthroughs of these online. Once on the ground, though, in the new city of Steelport, Hamza's character went to the gun store, bought some guns, and then went to rob a weapons depot where they got the new Reaper drone, which is a remote-controlled missile-launching baby helicopter, apparently, which is really cool. I used it during my demo. It's actually really fun. Now, back to the character customization. Keep in mind, it shows up in like every aspect of the game. This was true with the second one too, but like you make a character, you're like, oh, that's cool, and then you get to a cutscene, and that character does stuff that you're not controlling, which is a little bit unsettling. So during the cutscenes, all the characters in the game were taking orders from Hamza's naked Asian chick, who happened to be wearing a gigantic Professor Genki foam Japanese cat head. On top of that, you can change your character's voice, and there are now 7 voices to pick from. One of which is the zombie voice, which apparently just makes your person grumble incoherently, and other characters in the game will react to this. For instance, they'll talk down to you if you're just okay, all right, sure.
Patronizing.
You can also customize the vehicles, like this ridiculous street sweeper of death, which I want to play with so much. Yeah, you can make a killing machine that's a rocket-powered street sweeper of death. That's pretty cool. So this is all footage that Volition sent over to us of all the crazy gameplay footage. So let's want to take a look at that a little bit?
Yeah, let's do it. I actually haven't seen a lot of this yet.
This is just so offensive.
I think I need to put a big thong on my character when I make her.
Yeah, like I was like, I'm gonna make it look like me, but look at, that's just so offensive and tawdry and.
Gotta
look at that ass.
Really admire those jiggle physics also.
Seriously, I didn't know they were working on that. I thought it was just the Soul Calibur team who does the jiggle physics that much.
I feel like they've put a lot more effort into the physics of genitalia in this game.
I heard they actually had to tone it down compared to the early build I saw. Apparently, it's a naked skydiving.
That's gotta be cold.
Yeah, that's.
I would not want to do that.
Yeah. So yeah, Saints Row the Third. Oh God, I want this game. One thing that Hamza pointed out in his preview, which you should go read on our website, is there's a radio station that's all Adult Swim stuff. So it's like Death Clock and Tim and Eric songs and weird shit like that, which is pretty neat.
Awesome.
Here's the trailblazing activity. That's a holdover from the second Saints Row, where you just drive an ATV on fire through stuff. And this looks like most of the press events we go to.
I think I have that shirt.
Yeah, I'm a games journalist.
The worrisome part is that they had to get people to actually make those movements.
I'm just mad they didn't ask me to help out. I would be happy to let them mocap me staring at the stripper.
The air, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm sure you'd be good at it.
Oh, it's gonna be a dirty game. I want it.
So Saints Row the Third, there you have it. Before we go, as you may have already seen on our Twitter feed, we now have an Android app. There's been Destructoid apps before, but this one is just exclusively for the show. You can watch any episode you want on the go, whether you're on a phone or a tablet. Pretty soon you're going to be able to actually watch our live shows on there, which is really cool.
It's badass.
So big shout out and thank you to Evan at Revision 3 who built the app for us with his bare hands. Go download it on the Android market because it's totally free. And
yeah, check that out. That's kind of rad. That sort of legitimizes us one step further.
Mm-hmm. Also, a quick programming note, we will be back on Friday at 3:30 p.m. Pacific time for another live show, but it's going to be a little bit different this week. I actually won't be here because I will be attending BlizzCon in Anaheim and fighting the crowds of sweaty nerds, but you will be here with Anthony Carboni doing God knows what.
We're going to be doing some things. You never know what. Some fun things, probably. We're going to be probably talking about news a little bit, but we're also going to be playing a game. It's going to be sort of like, don't tell mom the babysitter's dead, but with us.
Do you know what game you're playing yet?
Let's leave it a secret. Let's see what it is. It'll be entertaining to watch, put it that way.
Okay, so watch that on Friday, and as for BlizzCon, expect to see our coverage popping up over the weekend on this YouTube channel. I've got some hands-on time and an interview scheduled for Diablo 3 so far, so if you want me to talk about something specific or you have something that you want me to ask in an interview, head on over to our Facebook page at facebook.com/dtoidshow and leave your suggestions there, and I will read them tonight before bed.
Excellent.
Excellent. All right.
Well, that's our show.
Destructoid is go.
That's our show for the day. Have a good night, guys.
See ya.